So Mixtape received a 10 out of 10 gaming score, and some people are not happy about that at all. There's a mix of reasons such as lack of actual gameplay, comparing the score to what other games received, and maybe just confusion over why people are loving it. I loved it personally, but I think we're having the wrong conversation about the game. Now, if you aren't familiar with what Mixtape is, don't worry, I got you. You follow one night of three close friends, Rockford, Slater, and Cassandra, as they reminisce over their teenage friendship through music before heading off to college. Developed by Beethoven and Dinosaurs and was released May 7th, 2026. The soundtrack includes licensed hits from artists like Iggy Pop, The Cure, and the Smashing Pumpkins. You can play this game on your Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, also available on Game Pass, and on your PC through Steam. You'll get anywhere between 3 to 6 hours of playtime. So you drop into a moment from the past. This is especially a heavy hitter for millennials. 90s themed, edgy, full of high energy as we meet Rockford, Slater, and Cassandra. The visuals are grainy. It's giving old school movies with the freeze frames and pop art text. And immediately you can tell this is going to be different. Everything is narrated by Rockford, and she's talking to us, the viewer, giving us the insight to each song, each memory, and each emotion. It feels timeless. So the entirety of the game, is set in one day where the trio reminisces over their time together, one song at a time. You naturally move from location to location, and oh my goodness, the visuals of each space is so incredibly well done. For example, when being in a bedroom, you see posters filling the wall, photographs, clutter. It actually feels like the room you had when you were 17. You know, we used to collect so much stuff. We definitely were not minimalists. The great thing about the clutter is that different pieces have a story attached, and you can interact with various objects. This helps everything really flow together and have a purpose. The text behind the characters and objects is just chef's kiss and adds layers to the game. The depth of field here is phenomenal, and just the imagery in the background especially is so mesmerizing, and even more so when the lighting hits it just right. I think that's definitely the highlight of this game, the visuals. Even just flowing from having control over a character to a cutscene is so well done and so seamless. The insert of real life images like the photographs or the little sticker on the CD of the price on the pause menu just gives players that sense of nostalgia that definitely hits home. That's probably why so many people enjoyed playing this game, because certain moments, certain scenes, and certain objects took them back to this place, this era. Now, if this wasn't your childhood or none of these things relate to you in any way, this game will feel like just a game. I still think it's a well-made game if you look past the gameplay, and we'll talk about the gameplay part in a bit, but the visuals and the music oftentimes carry the majority of a game, and this game excels in both of those aspects. I think the song choices match the vibe of the scenes as you go from different emotions like joy, sadness, and straight up rebellion. It all fits and works together. Now, speaking of working together, we have our three main characters as they travel around the town. It's very important to have characters that are likable and at least somewhat relatable, and Mixtape definitely hits the mark. You see an array of emotions from the characters, and you get to see their bond throughout their entire friendship. Oftentimes, teens have this laid back, chill personality and constantly getting into trouble and figuring out ways to get out of trouble, but in even worse ways. It's just a part of growing up. Now, whether or not you did what these three did in the game, it doesn't really matter. As you play, you remember all the crazy stuff you got into as a teen, and again, that nostalgia creeps up. Overall, I enjoyed watching the friendship between Rockford, Slater, and Cassandra, and it really brought up some emotions as you think about your own friendships, either from childhood or even now. Now, one thing I did see on the internet is that some people who aren't a fan of this game mentioned how they didn't have friends or friendships like these growing up, and so it didn't hit home for them. I can definitely understand that. The heart of this game is definitely friendship, and so the beautiful visuals and the fitting songs aren't as dominant when you can't relate to the story. And to be honest, this game is really a well-made interactive story. Now, I say that because even though I still classify it as a game, you aren't really doing too much in terms of gameplay. A lot of it is just walking around, clicking on objects, skating through the streets, and just different styles of gameplay. A lot of the time you're spectating as you're watching the story unfold. Now, when it is time to play, what I think this game does really well is show such a variety of gaming styles and moments. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but you've definitely seen these moments like the spinning the shopping cart around as you escape from the cops, throwing toilet paper on a house, flying through the fields, skipping rocks, playing baseball, and so much more. Instead of just the typical gameplay loop, each time you take over is something different and exciting because it makes sense with what the story is trying to tell. For some, this might be more on the boring side. This isn't a first-person shooter or a platform game. It is telling a story, and so it's more slowly paced and more visual and music heavy. This means this game is more for a certain type of player. The type of player that wants a nostalgic story, a unique experience, beautiful visuals, and a well-made mixtape to tie everything together. I see a lot of folks comparing it to other types of games, but this is definitely a different experience. Let me give you an example of what some people are saying about this game. I don't write reviews ever, but for this game, I will because I cannot understand all of the overwhelming reviews. This game is not a game. It's a film with very limited interactions here and there. I've played all the story games you can imagine. Life is Strange has zero resemblance to this game. It's almost offensive to compare this to the GOAT. Yes, the game has good visuals and soundtrack, but that's really all it has going for it. This game bored me to my grave, and you can pretty much play the entire thing idle. Even on the quick time events, the character does it for you. It's pointless and there's no punishments if you miss the timings. The character makes it regardless. They should have just made this a short film. Now, this is the type of comment that has been floating around ever since this game received such overwhelmingly positive reviews. Do I agree that it is more like an interactive film? Yes. Do I still consider it a game? Also, yes. What makes something considered a video game? Does it have to have challenges? Do you have to be in control the majority of the time? Does it have to have more gameplay and less story? What's the real criteria? In Mixtape, if you mess up, the game will rewind time and allow you to redo. If you don't hit the target, you're allowed to retry or just progress. The challenges are there, they're just not designed to punish you, and that's intentional. I don't think those things take away from the game. It just gives the player a more laid-back experience. Not everything has to be high stakes. This game is, again, focused on the story while allowing the player to have control in various moments. Could it have been a short film? Sure. Would I have watched it? Probably not. I'm not big on films, sorry, not sorry. Usually you have to make me sit down and watch something for a couple of hours. I wouldn't voluntarily pick up and watch films in my free time, but I will play a game. So this game really boils down to who it's made for. I think whether you absolutely love the game or you found it really boring, they're both valid points. This game is all about hitting nostalgia, captivating gamers through visuals and music, and landing in a vulnerable place. If you have no connection to the 90s, the music isn't really your thing, you're not caught up in the beautiful visuals, or you're expecting more gameplay and more action, then this game is just not for you. And you will be confused as to why people are saying it's a 10 out of 10. It's not a super deep story either. It's about teenage friendship. For some, this is exactly the kind of game that they're looking for, or even the kind of game that hits home. Here's the thing. You can have a variety of games in your library. For example, I love a good cozy game, but I also like first-person shooters, and puzzle games are my go-to. But I also like this because it's different. Now, whether you think it's a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10, completely up to you once you've played it. But at the end of the day, it's what you think, not what others think, not what critics think, but what you think ultimately. For me, I think this game landed well. It's the kind of different that I needed to see. Now, have you played Mixtape? What score would you give it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about Mixtape. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more cozy gaming content. I will really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your week, my friends, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!